Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar dedicated to Ulysseus Research and Innovation Groups. My name is Peter Jupka, and I have a privilege to serve as a Work Package 4 coordinator. And together with my team, we were responsible for creating and delivering the seed funding call, which made today's results possible. The establishment of the research and innovation groups among the researchers from different Ulysseus universities was and still is one of the key goals of the Ulysseus project. These groups hopefully are dedicated to strengthen collaboration and enhance the networking and create long-term research synergies across our Ulysseus Alliance. I am really very proud to share some results from our first seed funding call. We have successfully supported 42 research and innovation groups, including 13 focused on innovation hubs or 13 around the innovation hubs. We succeed to bring together and support more than 290 researchers from all 8 Ulysseus universities. Among them, there are 79 young researchers, and more than half of the researchers are women. We have totally provided nearly 370,000 euros of funding, and the average allocation for one research group was around 9,000 euros. This strong participation, participation of researchers on this funding program and call, we can consider as a great success for Ulysseus. But on the other side, we are really expecting from these newly created groups to deliver sustainable activities and tangible results, such as, research and R&D projects, research proposals, patents, scientific publication, or exchange of PhD students. All of these outcomes will be essential for the long-term sustainability and impact of your research and innovation group. Today's program will give us insight to implementation problems of R&I groups. So some administrative procedures you will have to undertake when implementing your project. My colleague Radovan Drab will give you a presentation and some very important practical information how to implement the project. On the end of his presentation, we have prepared a question and answer session where we prepared already answers to the question you have sent us by the registration. Then we will continue with a presentation of the International Project Office, Adil. He will try to present you all the support activities that you can gain from being part of the Ulysseus seed funding program. And on the end, Jean-Luc Cavaza from the University of Côte d'Azur will present you the possibilities of connecting through our Ulysseus digital platform. So probably that's all from my side. I would like to take this opportunity to especially welcome our Ulysseus General Manager, Inma, which joined us on this webinar. And now, with that, it is my pleasure to pass the floor to Trigo, Director of International Strategy of Ulysseus, who will continue with his opening remarks. So thank you and welcome to the webinar. Trigo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Peter. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. Thank you, Peter, but I am only the Director of International Strategy of the University of Seville, not for Ulysseus. I am very involved in Ulysseus in many topics and many work groups. Part of them are related with the internationalization of Ulysseus, but also part of my involvement is related with the Innovation Hub and this topic in particular, research and innovation groups. I think, as Peter was saying, this is very inspiring to see so many of you gathered here today to take part in this important step for Ulysseus. I would like to remark this word is important step for Ulysseus. In this sense, I must say that Carmen Vargas, General Coordinator of Ulysseus, would have liked to be here personally to congratulate you. I would like to start by recognizing the tremendous work carried out by Tuke throughout the whole process. The dedication and vision has been essential to making today possible. At the same time, I want to warmly thank all the researchers who have joined this initiative. Your commitment, creativity, and willingness to collaborate are what bring real meaning and energy to our alliance. Today, we celebrate the creation and funding of 42 joint research and innovation groups. This is not only an impressive number, but also a symbol of our shared ambition to build a true space for university collaboration within Ulysseus. These groups are the seeds of a dynamic and connected research community that cross borders, disciplines, and institutions. Together, we are building the foundation for long-lasting impact. I encourage you to make the most of this opportunity to connect, to collaborate, and to shape the future of Ulysses research. I wish you the best luck with this marvelous journey in Ulysses, where together we are shaping the future. I think this, I would like to highlight these final words. We are building the future. We are connecting the research. We are building the new university. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Trigo. And one more information before I pass the word to Radovan Drab with his first presentation. I would like to inform you that by the end of the webinar, there will be also a presentation taken by Bianca van Houten about she's a Ulysseus International Mobility Coordinator, and she will provide you with information about the opportunities of Seed Fund for Teachers. And now I would like to ask Radovan Drab to take the floor and to give you a presentation about the administrative guidance by when implementing your projects. So Radovan, the floor is yours now.
Thank you very much, Peter. So welcome everyone. Hi everyone. I'm really happy that so many people has joined this webinar and they're curious about the answers that I probably provided during the registration form. And I'm really hoping that you will get your answers by the end of my presentation. So my name is Radovan Drab and I'm from the Technical University, and this is somehow I'm part of this child that has been born, this seed funding scheme and program inside the Ulysseus. So there were many questions related to administrative tasks. That's why we have decided to give you this kind of workshop, so you can get this information firsthand and get some contact information on people you should contact during the implementation phase of your projects. So my presentation is going to be not so brief. Probably it's going to take 20 minutes, maybe even more, because I have included also questions in the end. So, but in general, I would like to tackle these topics. So I would like to cover how and when you can use your seed funding funds. This is the main, probably practical point of view from the presentation. What activities are expected during the project to be carried out and be able to be funded. How and when you are going to do these reporting results or do reports in the end, and some practical tips for compliance, maybe some smooth project management inside this seed funding. So I have just included these basic statistics, which were already mentioned by Peter. Yes, there are some small differences because we have changed one group from Innovation Hub to regular hubs, and there is one more person involved. But that's probably everything. So we have 42 research and innovation groups that have 328 applicants inside. Some of them were several times, so there are 289 unique researchers among us who are going to be sort of somehow funded by these seed funding. So let's go through the timeline and the activity period, because this was the most crucial part and most frequently asked questions. So the funding period for all the groups has already begun on the 15th of September. All the groups, I mean the lead applicants of the groups, have received the confirmation letters somewhere in July, and they have been obliged to reply to this letter by confirming that they have informed all the group members with the results. The results were mostly related to the budgets that have been assigned to your groups from each partner universities separately. Why is this system like that? It's because the funds have been allocated to each university. So each university is responsible to fund their researchers inside the research and innovation groups. The total period where the funding period is 12 consecutive months from the date of the grant approval, so meaning from this 15th of September. So you have 1 year actually to spend the money and carry out the activities you've promised to carry out. And that's it. After this period, you should be then providing us with some basic report, some ground report, what you have done during these 12 months and what were the results, what activities you have carried out, and so on. So as it's on the slides, within this period, you should plan and carry out all the collaborative activities. Keep in mind, this is seed funding. So the main purpose of this whole program is get together and spark the ideation phase of everything you do. Whether it's a project you want to do together, whether it's some research you want to do together, or exchange PhD students, or come up with scientific articles. So this is the first like sparking funding for your creativity. So the main output of the seed funding is your plan of the next or future steps. So that's the follow-up actions. So this is the main important part as the outcome of the seed funding period. So either it's joint proposals, publications, or innovation projects, whatever is the output of your research and innovation groups. The output of the seed funding phase is to really precisely specify follow-up action, so you have a clear overview what are the next steps and what results you're going to achieve. Of course, the more things happen during this phase, the better. So if you have some joint publications already, or you wrote a proposal already inside the period, it's amazing. The expenses that incur outside of these 12-month periods are not going to be eligible and covered by the grant. I think this is quite clear. So only expenses that incur before or inside this time window are going to be eligible. Now, what can you fund? The seed funding has a pretty strict rules. What categories or activities can be funded through the seed funding, as the main idea of the seed funding is what I have already mentioned, to spark the first ideas, to get together, establish networks, establish the first collaboration. So you should spend the funds on activities that are directly supporting your research and innovation group development and work. And that means those categories are mostly covered by travel and accommodation for in-person meetings between these group members, so the researchers inside the groups. There is a notation that, yes, we prefer sustainable travel if it's possible. Then costs related to workshops, seminars, or networking events where you can define your group's goals or collaboration or whatever you do. If you are the hosting institution, then all the meeting costs are also eligible. That means like room rentals, materials, technical services, small coffee breaks, catering services, and such regular stuff that you usually provide when you're organizing a workshop or a seminar. Also small services that are directly linked to your research and innovation groups activities. For example, if you need do some printouts, or I don't know, you need to rent out a room for something or something like that. There is also a clause that other specific costs could be part of it, but it's only upon an advanced approval by the European Commission project officer, and we have to approach it through the Ulysseus general manager. So please be careful with that. If you want to fund something that is outside of this box, ask first us, so we can ask through the Ulysseus general manager to confirm whether it is okay or not. But mostly the answer is no. We have tried many times, and that's why we really stick to these categories strictly. So like, there is also a list out of these communications that we had with the European Commission project officer that certain costs cannot be covered with the seed funding, and that's mostly salaries, no honoraria, no staff costs, no overheads, no indirect costs, no equipment purchases, not even conference participation fees, no external consultancies, and activities that are related for like writing services of the projects or stuff like that, because that was also a question, and all the activities unrelated to the creation or consolidation of the research and innovation groups, and also costs outside the 12-month time frame or time window. So be aware before you spend the money on to keep in mind these sort of like restrictions. Good. Now, regarding the project management, or who to call, or how the whole process is going to be managed. Each of the group members has its affiliation university, and that affiliation university has its own internal financial rules. We don't know them, and we are not going to restrict anything. So everything that is generally applicable and eligible in your countries and at your universities or at your institutions is okay. So I don't know, if you plan a travel funded by seed funding, you already know whom to contact on your university to issue all the documents. Only what you have to specify is the funding source, and that is going to be the Ulysseus Seed Fund. On the next slides, there will be going to be contacts, whom to contact for each university. So also the reimbursement procedure and the documentation required is really locally specified. So it's according to your institution rules, institution administration processes, which we don't know. There is an advice to keep the original documentation for almost all the expenses, or all the expenses like tickets, invoices, receipts, participants list. In case of a later audit, it could happen. Often we've been asked that what if we would like to travel and there is not enough funds allocated? You can still use Erasmus Plus mobility schemes for travel where possible. So I think all of the universities inside the Ulysseus have bilateral contracts for Erasmus Plus mobilities. That's a question maybe later for Bianca. And you are able to use them also to fund your travels outside if the funds are not enough. What happens if you don't spend the entire grant? Unfortunately, the unspent funds cannot be carried over, so they will still be allocated in that budget of the institution you are belonging to and be used on the next call, which is going to be focused mostly on increasing or changes to the existing groups and also to creating new groups. When you are going to use or utilize the funds, please coordinate these spendings also with your other group members to avoid duplicity of the costs or to avoid ineligibility of the costs in the end. So try to keep that in mind. Also, the last one is like pretty obvious. If possible, please look for any additional funds and sources outside seed funding to support your group activities. Look at the seed funding as a partial funding of your initiative. It's like an enabler for your cooperation, but it's there to support you to creating these networks, to support your research activities and your travels and in establishing the group. It shouldn't be the only funding source of your activity. So wherever possible, please try to find different sources. I know it's already happening at some universities, so I think we started a good job here. And now the most important slide of my presentation is whom to contact for financial questions. My colleagues, William and Thomas, have created this list of contact persons inside each Ulysseus partner. Mostly they are from they are in the position of financial officers or project managers, so you can see whom to contact. For Sevilla, it's okay. Probably I'm not going to read the names because I'm going to pronounce it probably not correctly. Francisco Martinez, maybe. Then for Costa de Azur is Pauline Oshart. For Genoa, Luis Vaccaro and Laura Gaguero. For Tuca, it's Tomáš Pavlik. For MCI, it's Sara Repo. For Hagahelia, it's Anna Timonen. For Münster, it's Barbara von Grote-Kotzes and Tobias Gumbert. And for Montenegro, Branka Zizic or Zizic. Okay, so please keep this in mind. I think you will have this presentation in the end or after the presentation, so you will have access to this slide. Okay. Another big questions were related mostly to what kind of outputs and what kind of reports do we need to do and how they will look like or how complicated it is to be. We have tried to come up with the easiest and least administrative demanding processes for you. So we wanted to keep it as simple as possible. So we have consulted the rules of Ulysseus, and from this confrontation, we have discovered that we need you to do at least 2 types of reports. I'm sorry. One is going to be the final report, which is going to happen after the 12 months have passed. We call it as a final or grand report, where you're going to report all the important issues that happened during the seed funding period. But from the Ulysseus point of view, we also need you to give us a short glimpse of what you did after the end of each year, and that's an annual short report. Okay, now I'll try to show you how preliminary these documents look like. I say preliminary because they are still under construction. Okay, let me check if I can actually do it because, yes. Good. So it looks like the application form that you have submitted. So there is going to be the basic information of the final report now. Okay, I start with the final report. There is going to be the basic information of the group pre-filled from your application form. So if you have to, you can feel free to change anything that has changed during this period. And then we would like to have a list of your group outputs, which is the most important part. So what you have done during these 12 months. And these are mostly related to categories like meetings you have carried out, mobilities you have carried out, publications, if any, you have carried out. If you wrote some project proposals, then also like short information about it. If you have had some new stakeholders on board, also that information is really important. If you publish something outside like scientific publications and you did some dissemination, like you have attended some conferences and stuff like that, a mention of this thing. If you have realized some training sessions for anyone else or established a new collaboration or something other. This is still under construction, so maybe we will make it a little bit shorter. Why we would like to have like glimpse information about everything is because the KPI indicators inside the projects. So we would like to be able to keep track of your doings. The annual report is much shorter than that, and it's going to be just like a submission form, like really simple, where you're going to write what happened inside a time frame, and you're going to just submit it via a link. Okay, now I just go through it as a basic. So it's these seven steps. So what you did during the year, like short description, what happened. This annual report should be submitted each January until the end of Ulysseus project. So if I'm not mistaken, the last one is going to happen on January 27. Because in
you are correct, yes.
I'm correct. Okay, so in January 27, you're going to submit the last annual report. So you're going to submit one grand report, the final report, after the 12-month funding period ends. So we'd like to know how you spend the money. And then you're going to have the short annual reports. So one already in January 26 and one in January 27. So 3 reports altogether, 2 shorts and one a little bit longer. Okay, now go back to the presentation.
Un po' esagerato.
Okay. Somebody has a microphone on. Okay, so let's continue. What are we interested in? That's I already have mentioned you a little bit. So we are interested in meetings and workshops that you have carried out, mobilities, publications, project proposals, engagement of stakeholders or other partners, disseminations that you carried out, any training sessions or collaborations that you have established, or patents that was missing out, or something other that you think is related to your group. Okay. Now, like, I'm getting to the end. Well, I'm good. So tips, strategies, and support that you could sort of like have in mind or keep in mind when you are dealing with the seed funding. So try to plan your activities early, because those 12 months are really a short period of time. And I know it's sometimes hard because you have to get to know each other, plan some meetings, carry out the meetings. So please start with the planning activities and carrying them out as soon as possible. You are now free to spend the money. If you have received the confirmation letter, you can ask the financial officer how to go about it, whether it's like a dedicated budget or you are going to receive the money as a grant. This is also local administration process dependent, so it's open. I don't know how it will happen, for example, at your universities. Please communicate regularly with all the partners and stakeholders, so keep them on track, and ensure that every member contributes and updates their database profile. Keep that in mind also, that the Ulysseus experts database is our main monitoring tool. So every member of your group should be also a member of this Ulysseus expert database. And we are going to check that after the period ends. So keep that also in mind, that you should have these profiles updated. If you have, please discuss and align future funding opportunities during your collaboration, so that the group is going to live after these 12 months and continue its work. For any questions related, you can use our official email address, which is research@ulysseus.eu, or you can ask your local financial officer with all these administrative issues related to your university. For example, what do I need if I need to travel? What kind of documents do I need? What proofs do you need? This is everything your university or institution related. Okay. This is the official end of my monologue presentation, but before I stop, I'm going to continue. We have received 24 questions during the registration phase, and I have tried to wrap them up into some groups. And what I'm going to do, 90% of them I have already answered, but just like to repeat myself again. I will just go through them again. So we have received questions related to how to manage the project. So how long is it? If it's a 1 year or more, what is the launch date? How long the project lasts? Or is there a deadline for spending the budget? Now you know that there is, and the period is 12 months. And what you do is you have to submit a final grant report and at least 2 annual reports if the group is not going to take part in other calls and extend it for more. Then there were questions related to contacts. So who is our contact managing expenses for organizing workshops, seminars, and stuff? So there is that list. each partner university is responsible for management of their own allocated budgets and researchers inside their universities according to their internal rules and procedures. So the local selection committee had proposed and allocated funds to the groups by their internal rules and their decisions. So for any financial questions, you can ask the financial officer how to use them, how to spend the money. And there was the question that somehow was targeting towards the funds are from somewhere else. No, the funds from seed funding are already allocated at your universities. So they already have the money allocated, so they have just to reallocate it to you according to what these local selection committee have approved. Okay. There was a question regarding some meetings or conferences that happen abroad. So here I just going to repeat myself. So a conference fee is not an eligible cost inside seed funding, but travels are. So if you are planning a research and innovation group meeting or workshop somewhere abroad, then the travels, they are eligible. I think that's an also answer for somebody who was asking if they are coming to Košice and having a workshop there, if the funds are going to be eligible. The answer is yes. So that group of questions, how can we successfully organize provisional work with the plan in 3-person seminars during a year, given the significant differences of funding, and if the funds can be reallocated inside the groups, and if you should downsize your plans according to the funding. So I'll start with the last one. It's even specifically written in the program that yes, if you have received less funding, you should accommodate also your activities according to that, unless you have different funding sources that you would like to apply here. If we can reallocate already allocated funds, the answer is no. We can't reallocate, like the example was that one university provided less and the other one more. So if you can transfer that money, the answer is no. There is no procedure, no mechanics how we could do that. So please, in these cases, try to utilize the Erasmus Plus mobility options for travels, or the researchers receiving less funds, let them be the accepting country, so organizing country. So the others are going to travel, and the partner with less funding is going to be the host for the meetings or something like that. So you can sort of like optimize the costs. Okay. I think that was it. And yeah, there was a question that you need more time or opportunity to learn your partner's capabilities before you apply for project. Yes, this is the very purpose of the seed funding, to get together, understand the needs and the possibilities of your partners involved in the research and innovation groups. So that's why you have applied actually in seed funding. And there was the idea of addressing a network of researchers that would allow establishing contacts for the configuration of doctoral thesis tribunals. Okay, that I'm going to point the author of this question towards the Ulysseus Experts database, where you can find reasonable researchers in that field you are looking for, so you can ask them directly and establish this kind of network for doctoral thesis tribunals wherever possible. So that's it. And there was another question that some departments stated they are non-research oriented while having researchers, even making PhDs and so on. So I'm answering here, the eligibility of your group was based on each individual that has been named in that group. So it's based on each individual researcher, not the department. So the local selection committees were looking on the persons who were parts of your groups, and according them, they have assigned you the funding. So I don't think that a situation of a non-research oriented department matters here. So it's what matters is the researcher who is part of your group. And if he or she does have a contract with the institution allowing him to utilize the funds, you can have him on board no matter what. So that's completely okay. If we have strategies for active stakeholders involvement in the R&I groups, benefits for non-researchers or non-Ulysseus partners, probably this question should be specified more detail in more detail. But yes, we have tried it, and we have made this condition. If the group is around Innovation Hub, there should be a stakeholder involved. The more, the better, and also they should be somehow relevant to the group. And I think that was no, it was not the last. Yeah, the last one was how to deal with changing research group membership, members changing institutions, and so on, and how to initiate Erasmus exchange, which agreements do already exist between the Ulysseus partners. So I'll start with the last one. To initiate Erasmus exchange, you have to contact your local mobility officer or somebody who is responsible for international relations and is dealing with these mobilities. I believe that there exists bilateral contracts between all of the partners, so you can use them and utilize them for travels. The issue with the yellow is still struggling with us, and how to deal with the changes inside the group memberships, because the funds were allocated, as I mentioned, based on the group members. So if you are going to change those members for different members, could be a problem. But if you would like to add members to your groups, we do not have a problem with that. But the funding is not going to be changed during these 12 months. So you are free to add more members to your groups, but unfortunately, you can't claim more funds from seed funding by doing this. So the funding can't be changed. Only if you apply in the call number 2 for additional funding, and these funds are going to be allocated to you because you have increased the group size. But also there is going to be a priority to include more partners. So we are trying to focus on that. Partially, I have answered these questions. What are the project management guidelines? Do we need to develop a report? I think I already mentioned that. So there's going to be the 1 final and 2 short annual reports submitted every January. We are going to get to you back via email. I'm going to resend you what to do and how and when and by what deadline. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the last question.
Thank you, Radovan. It was a really interesting presentation. I think that we have already answered all your questions you provided us during your registration process to this webinar. If you have additional question, please keep it in mind or write it down, because on the end of our session we will have a question and answers session. And now I would like to give floor to Adil Bakayan from University of Côte d'Azur. He serves as a Ulysseus International Project Officer, and he will provide you a lot of information about what kind of support you can get from the International Project Office. So Adil, the floor is yours now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me. Hi. Can you hear me well? Can you see the presentation?
Adil, can you hear me? May
yes.
Yes. I would like to say something because I have to jump to another meeting before you start. Listen to Peter in the introduction and listening Radovan go to all the steps and how the PC funding program will be worked. I would like to say that you have to take this as an opportunity. Peter was saying that at the very beginning. This is the opportunity. This is the starting point for a new path. We are building a new path with the researchers working together in Ulysseus with the research and innovation group This is very important. This is the only a way to start to put us together, to work together, to see the results, the big results in the near future. And this is very important because if you see all the relevant comments and this is eligible and eligible, the travel and so on, this is many information. I have to say Erasmus Plus can support the mobility, as Radovan was saying, but as a researcher, we have to put the focus in the long term. And this is important to see. This is only the seed. We have to we have to grow up the seed with our commitment and looking the big funding with capital letters in other parts and other opportunity like Adil is going to present, because the projects where the money, the real money is, and the big funding is. So this is important to think. This is the starting point. This is the way we are connecting our Ulysseus, a very interesting and teaching path ahead. And one of the key opportunity and key instrument is the project, and this is important to listen carefully the info Adil is going to give us. Thank you very much once again. This is very important for Ulysseus. I have to say I'm very proud of all the work you are doing. I congratulate you and thank you very much.
Thank you, Trigo. Yeah, I fully agree. This is just a small step, and we're all of our universities are very large with a lot of researchers. So this is a very, very nice opportunity to get to know each other in other research fields and to intensify the cooperation and networking, and to be able to get the synergies from our cooperation in any form. So yes, this is a really big opportunity for our universities and also for the Ulysseus project. And so thank you, Trigo, for your words. And now I really pass the floor to Adil. So Adil, you can.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Trigo, for these inspiring words. Indeed, indeed, we're just putting the seed and the first break. So let's see how we can build up on this. So Adil Bakayan, I manage this what we call at the Ulysseus level International Project Office. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it very soon. Yes, well, this is up. So what is the International Project Office? Basically, it's a joint structure, mutualized joint structure that we pull together European project developers and grant writers, engineers, whatever we can call them, different nomenclatures, basically to support the research, the triangle, the research, innovation, and the education ecosystem at Ulysseus level. Let's just say this is the first, say, short definition. One important point is that we act as an entry point to at Ulysseus level for all kind of proposal development, collaborative proposal development, of course, in terms of coordination, funding intelligence, finding partners, etc., etc. Basically, in the proposal development from idea to submission. I say well, from idea to submission, we don't tackle the management part after a project it's granted. So as our let's say mission or motive is to drive project excellence, of course, at Ulysseus level, and help the researchers, staff, and across all the partner universities, with the 8 partner universities. So to design, to connect, and even scale up sometimes some projects to the Ulysseus or European level. So these are in a nutshell the idea behind the IPO. National Project Office. And if I might, and to do this, we have what we call international project officers. So this, so as you can see on the picture, we're connected, a small team of 8 partners, 8 members, who we interact very regularly, and in terms of strategy, in terms of communication and outreach, etc. So I'm going to present to you later on. So, but I always I prefer to start presenting the team the first rather than at the end, because sometimes we don't have time, etc. So all the credit also goes to the team members for their hard work and efforts. So basically, these contact points are at your local level, at your university level, and if you like to have direct contact with them, of course, that's great. You can also reach out to me directly, or I will be giving you information about contact later on. So basically, what we do, if we can summarize from one vision, you know, to drive Ulysses project excellence at Ulysses level, we let's say we have this 5 key actions, okay, from 1 to 5. I would say, of course, the regular proposal support that you might find at local support offices, I won't go into details of funding intelligence in terms of communicating, identifying funding opportunities, and of course communicating them, disseminating them. Consortium building, this is a big important aspect of the IPO, and even if it's a consortium building for you, it's something that is you kind of have the advantage of being at the research and innovation group, because you already have some kind of starter consortium, so which is a great advantage, to be honest, and it will allow you to mature, have even more matured ideas from the beginning, because you already have that advantage of consortium. But we do intervene and help with partner search, etc. It depends, of course, on the call and the proposal. So we are here also to help you with that. Awareness, I'm talking about number 5 before going back to number 4. Awareness, in terms of awareness, is also something that you might find also at your local level. So we organize events, workshops, outreach activities to all Ulysses researchers and academic staff. And to end by community of practice, this is something we're working on also, to try to not only, so I presented earlier the 8 IPO members, but let's just say that on the operational ground, there are many people working on a proposal development at the Ulysses partner universities. So we try to build a community about that, around that, to better support and give more visibility a little bit to the researcher at Ulysses level. So about what we can do together, mutualize, what kind of offer we can present to the researchers community of Ulysses. So this is, if I might summarize, in 5 actions, key actions. To be a little bit more precise, what we do at Ulysses level or on operational ground, if I go back by kind of, let's say, categorizing 4 actions or operational actions on the ground. So we do a lot of many FU days, master classes, training sessions for proposal writing, understanding also calls, mechanisms. These are things we propose at Ulysses level, not only at for the research and innovation groups. You are part of that as well. So I'm going to end up later on by specific support that we might offer for the research and innovation groups. So these are things that we are actually doing today for the whole community. And funding intelligence, we talked about it. It's important to highlight that we are developing now and pushing it more and more to use Match for Cope. I will talk to you, and also John Wick later on will talk to you about it, which is a platform or an app. Ulysses built one to support matchmaking and communication and dissemination of information. Okay, so this is something that we're going to develop more and more. And I'm going to talk to you about it just next slide, because this is important in terms of communication and getting stay in touch. Proposal support, so we do a lot of that one-on-one coaching especially for the Ulysses coordinators. Of course, now if you are about to coordinate one of the proposals, you are part of that. So we have this specific task forces who can help you understand and try to move from idea to project, at least, or it depends on your need, it depends on your stage. Of course, it's tailored, let's say, also support and guidance. We provide, of course, with templates, administrative parts, aligning the ideas with the goals and EU priorities. Non-technical section will help with that as well, in terms of impact, gender, EI, if it's applicable, dissemination, etc. And we do some proofreading. We can also do that when we can. It's not always many projects, so we do as much as we can to help you with each point. Okay, it depends on your need, particular need. Consortium building is something we talked about it, and yeah, so we're very active on that too. So my next slide is just to tell you about the Match for Corp. This is important. Jean-Luc will talk to you about it later on, most probably. But just to give you a very short, very snapshot on what it is. It's an app again that was being developed by the digital unit, and Jean-Luc has actually done a lot of work and coordinated it and led its development. Basically, it's an app like a social network, okay, internal one, and you find groups, you can follow groups, etc. You can have you can see posts, you can see you don't receive any notifications or emails. It's just you have to go there and check it out regularly. So basically, in terms of practical, so you can just download the app or just access to it online on the internet, on the browser. Register using your logins, university login, and try to search and follow the Ulysses IPO. I put the name of the group there, so this way you can see it on your posts, all say publications that are related to this group. You will be able to see them and follow them. So this is important so that we can stay in touch and connected. So what kind of contacts you may see there? You will have mainly two type of contents. So one is the funding opportunities or call for proposals that can be related to your group, to your area of expertise and thematic. And then also another important point is that, as I said earlier, we work on consortium building finding partners. So we would be able to also to communicate and disseminate information about when some proposal is looking for new partners at Ulysses level. So this is also the two kind of communication and information you can find on these posts. I leave there our contact email if you want to get in touch. This goes to all the team members, so you can get in touch whenever you have some questions, of course, and opportunities, etc. So my next slide is just to show you a little bit what kind of events and outreach were organized, so that you have in mind. So it goes from webinar series, master classes, to even a BIP that we organized last year, to presence in the conference and scientific conferences. This is important for us as well to be present and communicate and connect with the research community. And so on and so on. So yeah, so this is just to give you a snapshot of what we actually do on a daily basis in terms of outreach. And then my last slide, and I would like to finish with this, is regarding, so okay, so what is the specific support that we can offer today? So one thing, before I talk about the IPO, which is the blue part that you can see, it's important to note that we are currently working on a joint and structured offer of support to the thematic R&I groups that is coordinated by the UNICA, University of Côte d'Azur, which is coordinating work package 2 about consolidating the campus and joint structures. So the idea is to come up with a consolidated and transversal offer, including IPO, not only IPO, but also other structures like mobility office that Bianca, I heard she would be talking about it later on. The digital unit, John Wick will be talking about it later on, dissemination, etc., etc. So we are working on that. Very soon you will have also, normally we will be able to validate and finish it Kozichi week, because we have a meeting regarding that particular task. So you will hear about it soon. But while waiting for that, this is what I'm from the IPO point of view. Of course, I presented earlier what we do general at the Ulysses level, but what we suggest is to start with the one-to-one interviews with your groups, so that we can understand your specific, specificities and challenges, etc. It depends on the thematic. It depends on the maturity also of the group. If you have already submitted proposals, what kind of experience you have with proposals and projects. So this is so we thought that a tailored support for the groups would be preferable. And also in terms of if you have need for more external partners, etc., etc. So this is one of the things that we are going to put in place. Of course, we're going to help you with proposal development. Again, the proposal development, it's something that goes from idea to submission. So we can also put in place some early stage ideation support, so we can help you, with shaping your ideas and refine the concept, because we have this concept note that we can also use as a model. We have concept note model that we developed at the IPO level, that we can use also to structure your ideas and structure your idea for a proposal. So and also to make sure that it aligns with what goal. So this is something that that we can do for you specifically. Of course, these are not exclusive. Okay, this is I'm giving examples here. So of course, it would depend on your group and your need. What we thought about also is the presence of the IPO at your group events. So Rado explained it earlier. So part of the work that will be done at your group level is to communicate, connect, and try to build synergies. So physical meetings would be something that is important, and you can count also on some IPO officers to be there to join. In terms of to help with facilitating the proposal development and connections, etc., accelerate that in a way. So the overall ambition is to present you a kind of structured transversal offer, smart, efficient, because we want it to be tailored. This is where the personalized support is important. And also because we are talking about a community at the IPO level, or even at Ulysses level, is to avoid also duplication or of efforts, and also make the offer a little bit more visible also for you and easy to follow and to understand. So yes, I think that was my last slide. Yes, so so thank you very much. That was my last slide. I hope I'm open to questions, of course, if you have any.
So thank you, Adil. Do you have any questions toward Adil? So his presentation will be also provided to you after the webinar. You have contact to the International Project Office. So if you will have questions after the webinar, you can still approach Adil and his team. Okay, so if there are no questions, so thank you, Adil, for your presentation. And
You're welcome.
And now I would like to invite Jean-Luc, also from University of Côte d'Azur. He is a Ulysseus Digital Unit member, and he will provide you information about the Match for COP application, Ulysseus Open Science Platform and Expert Database. So Jean-Luc, the floor is yours now. Jean-Luc, can you hear us?
This microphone?
Yeah.
Good or so-so? Can you hear me well, or is the sound low?
Yeah, now it's better, Jean-Luc, now it's better, yeah.
Okay, cool. So getting rid of this, and I will get nearer to my screen so that you can hear me correctly. So thank you for hosting me. And if there is any issue during the presentation, let me know.
Okay.
In my usual setup. Like most of the content in my presentation has been somehow spoiled by others, but which is fine, because that means that it fits as a natural part of the strategy of Ulysseus and of all the members. So we need the tools, and the tools need us to be efficient. So I'm going to present a set of tools that we have in Ulysseus to support R&I groups and support researchers in general. And the first tool that I'm going to present is not a tool in itself, is the website of Ulysseus. Because everything I'm going to talk about is present on our website, and if you search for a specific tool, well, you're going to find it here. So in our website, we have the mobility calls, we have the research calls, the seed funding, we have the coils to build up our academic affairs. So we have plenty of opportunities for researchers to get in touch with us and like together as a team, as an R&I group. I will just make a little switch to the website, so that, because I want it to be very practical. So most of the content is visible in the menu, okay? You have a full section on research on Innovate that might be of interest for you, where you will find the tools that we're talking about today, the expert database and so on. And if you want a quick summary, you have a Get Involved part, and here you have academic staff. So if you get there, well, you're going to have a summary of all what we talk about. So the mobility for academic staff, like shaping the academic offer, so browse the offer itself, the calls that we have, and the networking opportunities that we have through beeps, through call, and so on, and of course the tools that we'll talk about. So just pay it a visit, or if you don't do it now, and if you want, like, oh, he talked to me about this tool, but where is it? So, well, then go there, and you will find the tool pretty easily. That's my main message for this one. And then let's go to the tools themselves. I was not probably willing to start with that, but okay, why not? Yeah, the consensus repository. The first tool we have is that because we know it's difficult to find the science that Ulysseus is producing, because we are 8 institutions and we are spread across countries, we have spread databases. We have put together all the open science that we could find publicly, so that you have a single search engine to search for Ulysseus science. Of course, it doesn't cover everyone, because not everyone is publishing its science openly, but at least it's a glimpse of the main institutions or the biggest one, and yeah, a window to get access to some of the science of Ulysseus. So I may show you interactively. So of course you can search, and you can publish. If you have no other way to publish open science, you can as well publish, because everyone can connect. I will make a little stop here all the tools we propose, we suggest, you can connect to them with your university account. We call it Ulysseus authentication, but in fact, it's forwarding you to your institution login, and you can connect to our tools with your institutional login without having any procedure or whatever to do to use them. So I'm going to mention it all the time, but so here, if you want to publish science on our website, you can do it by connecting with your institution account. So just let's show how it looks like. So you've got the main page where you have all the institutions, and not all of them have shared their science. So you now have for Münster and for Agalia. 3 of them, we still have to source the information in a correct way so that it's reflected correctly. And if you search for whatever research term you want to search for, you're going to find stuff. So micro heterogeneous catalysis, whatever. But yeah, you can have, if you want to view all the records, then you're going to have them spread. Let's say it's my field of research, catalysis, and let's say, and I want to know what is happening in Genoa on this subject. Well, then I can start to find some pointers to what names and to what people I can contact. Okay, so the goal of this platform for now is solely on science, and we are working at having those links leading to somewhere. For now, those links don't lead to something very meaningful. Even they fail because we have some issue with scrappers, like with bots on the net, and they were exhausting our resources trying to follow all the links and so on. So we deactivated the default link, but we are working on having something very simple to link those links with all the other tools we have. So with Match for Cooperation and with the expert database that you're gonna see later on. So let's go to the next tools. So this is about the science, the Open Science Repository. Yeah, here I just mentioned that we are working on having the expert database that I'm just going to present and the R&I group integration straight inside these platforms. For now, it's 2 platforms. We have divided them in 2 for a historical reason, and we're working on integrating them in the same place. So the URL for science is going to be this one in the long run. So the expert database is an initiative we've launched to try to collect. So we spoke about it early on, but to collect the complete, or at least most completely possible, researcher profiles in Ulysseus. So we already have roughly or more than 1,500 experts on the platform. So it's already quite a vast amount of people you can connect with. And most of the time you have access to very detailed research profiles. So I'm gonna switch to it so that you have an idea of how it looks. So again, you have to connect with Ulysseus connection, but yeah, usually it should work. So we have plenty of filters you can play with, like knowing if people have experience in writing proposals or have the kind of knowledge transfer experience or stuff like that. So you can really try to find a colleague that is, let's say, in Sevilla, that is speaking English if possible. So at least intermediate level in English. And you know, care about the gender, maybe you want to connect with a female, and then there's some interesting and you search and you find people who are actually women from Sevilla, like interested in research groups. So I didn't put the keywords. Maybe you would more search on the keyword and stuff like that. But it's really a simple way to get to know people and to get to contact them and try to establish bonds with them. And you have access to their email, so you can contact them via email. So that's about it. And you have, of course, your own expert profile. So this is mine, where you can complete all the details. I won't go through all of it, but it's like a 4 or 5 page like form, and where you can put all the information. We've as well recently access to joint R&I groups, so they are present here, and we plan to migrate them to the science platform a list of people already involved and the link toward
No problem.
the research.
Not a Marrakesh guest. It's not a Dubai.
Sorry, can
Someone-
someone
is
mute
microphone
the other persons? Otherwise, we cannot hear you very well. I don't know who has the rights to mute others.
Well,
Or just
Thanks.
follow the door, please mute yourself.
Bosnia?
I don't see who's and oh, maybe I have one.
no, I don't have rights. Katarina, who has? Oh, okay, Salvador now mute himself. So
Perfect. So let's go back to the presentation. So that's about it about the expert database. Maybe if you have more questions later on, you can ask those questions. But this is it. Basically, this is the most complete information you can have about researchers willing to join the Ulysses community. About Match for Cooperation. So some of the content has been spoiled already, but the purpose behind Match for Cooperation is how to collaborate easily, like how to send each other messages, how to have public groups, private groups, or public discussions or private discussions. All of that with like Ulysses researchers, with the easiness of just having to log in with your institutional login. So that's what we did. So onboard easily, discover people and projects, collaborate on calls if you want, and get notified if someone is pinging you, is willing to reach out to you. And you can publish your science, like you can share links about your work so that people get to know about it. The goal is to build a trustable network inside Ulysses of researchers willing to know each other. So it's a fully functional science sharing network, let's say. We have pre-imported some researchers with some of the keywords coming from the diverse sources. We have all 400 users signed up, and well, it's looking like Twitter kind of with some specific features for research, but kind of a Twitter experience. I have put back the QR code. It's available on Android and iOS, but there is a web version for web aficionados, those who really like don't want to jump into apps. I think I have a shared. Yeah, it's around here. So here is how it's looking as a web app. You recognize kind of layout, have a Twitter style application. And you can access all of that with your Ulysses login. It's for now strictly reserved to Ulysses people. Of course, if you have people from other labs you trust that you think can be associated to Ulysses network, you have a way to invite people with an invitation link in your settings, and so they will be able to join with their professional email. Like you can send them an invite to make them join the network. It's fuzzy. If you cannot do it, ask me and I will provide you an invite link so that you can invite the people you believe could be interested. So let's go through the functionalities quickly, very quickly. So you can enrich your keyword with your research profile. You can join some already pre-existing groups about subjects that matters to you. You can create groups. You can mention people like with the @ character, and then it suggests you with people. So you can either discuss publicly on the timeline or privately. I mean that you can initiate a conversation with someone in a private way that nobody else sees what you're talking about. And you can create private groups. So with multiple people, you think you're going to have a regular interaction in a private group. Well, just create it, start discussing, and that's simple. Of course, be cautious. We don't monitor what you say or do in those private chats, private groups. So stay suitable for business, and don't share something you would not like to share in your own institution. For the invitation, so we suggest to people that we have identified as researchers from our institutions, and you can add people who have already signed up easily by the search engine. So what you can do is join Innovation Hub's related group. If you want to create your own for R&I, you can. You can invite some collaborators, you can chat, share your science, and of course, give us feedback. So if you see any bugs or if you see any missing feature, well, you can give us that feedback so that we can fix it. And I think I'm done. I was quite fast, but we were late, so I think that's it. That's good. If you have any question, I as well put the contact of our team so that if you have any issue or if you want to give any feedback, you can do it. And yeah, up for the questions if you have any. That's cool because I'm seeing the pop-ups of all the people who are joining the network, and that's cool.
Okay, so the floor is open for the questions. Thank you, Jean-Luc. So do you have any questions? Again, the presentation will be shared to you just after the webinar, so you can see the email as a contact, or you can easily contact Jean-Luc via Mac for cooperation platform. So it's probably the best way to communicate with Jean-Luc. Okay, so if there are no questions, then let's proceed to our last presentation, which will be held by Bianca van Putten. And Bianca, are you here with us?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm here. So I'll share my screen.
Okay, so the floor is yours. And
Great. Okay, so you should see my screen. So yeah, hello everyone. I hope you still have some energy left to listen to this little final parts. So my name is Bianca and I am the Ulysseus Mobility Coordinator. So really interesting to hear more about the seed fund call for researchers. But we actually also have another opportunity within Ulysseus, and that's the seed fund call for teachers. So if you're also teaching in your role, then this might be very interesting for you. So basically, it's a little bit the same idea as the fund for the researchers, but in this this call, we would like to encourage teachers to collaborate together. So the focus of this seed fund call is on coils, and I'm not sure if people already know what a coil is, but it stands for Collaborative Online International Learning, and it's basically a way to virtually connect classes together. So if you have your existing course and you partner up with another colleague from another Odysseus partner and they have their existing course, you find a way together to have a joint collaboration so that your students can jointly collaborate on a certain topic. So why would you apply for this? I think it's a really great opportunity, of course, to connect and work together with other teachers. It's a really great opportunity for your students to connect with each other, to have this international learning experience, and it's a really good way to pioneer an innovative online international activity, both for yourself but also for your students. And the seed fund that we now have basically will support you in meeting the partner. So you can travel to the partner, meet each other, and you can talk about how to set up this coil together. And then you have approximately 1 year once you've been granted this this grant to actually implement this at your university. So it's good to know that it's not a new course. It's really already an existing course. It can be, for example, a certain assignment that you work together on, that your students can work together on. So, for example, the credits are still being awarded by your university and also by the partner universities to their own students. So this is what we currently would like to support with this fund. How can you apply? Well, currently the call is open until the 31st of January. So you can scan this code, and then there's a page, and then it will link you to your own institutional application form. Of course, it could be that you don't have a partner yet, because to apply, you already need to know who you're going to be working with. So we actually have some opportunities for you as well to connect with the teacher. So we will have an online matchmaking event on the 29th of October at 4 o'clock Central European time. In this session, it's a 1-hour session, we will shortly explain again what is a COIL, and we will also explain the seed fund call again. And then we will have like breakout rooms where you can actually meet other teachers, and hopefully there's a certain topic you can connect on, and perhaps this is interesting for future collaboration. If you're not able to join on this date, then we also have a matchmaking form. You can just leave your details in there, and then the team, the mobility team, so my team, we will try to link you with a teacher. So I think it's definitely maybe interesting for you to explore. I know this has been a very long session already, so I'm trying to keep it short because there's a lot to tell about this topic. But if you can join this session, then you will learn more about it. And we also have already recorded webinar on the Ulysseus website. We also have a handbook already for this. And of course, we also have your local mobility officers. You can reach out to them, and they are more than happy to support you with this as well. So if you don't have their details, you can scan the code as well. And otherwise, you can always reach out to me as well. And Bianca van Putten, mobility Ulysseus team. So I forgot to leave my details, but I'm sure you will be able to get them through the contact people here. Yeah, I think that's mostly it from my side. So if there's any questions, let me know. And thank you so much for having the opportunity to speak here. And it was very interesting to learn more about your call as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Bianca. That was very quick and effective presentation. So yeah, that's another opportunity also, not only for researcher, but usually we are not doing research, but also teachers. So we as University Ulysseus partners can also use this opportunity of being member of the Ulysseus Alliance. So thank you, Bianca. And now we are a little bit behind the schedule, not so much, or not at least. What surprised me by now, we have a question and answer session. So now it's time, if you have some questions regarding to especially research and innovations, Ulysseus Research and Innovation Group seed funding. So now it's time to place your question, and me and my team would like to, if it were possible, to answer it directly. If not, you can leave the question also in the chat, or you can also approach us via email. Okay, so well, then our presentation were very informative. So if you don't have any questions, I think that on the end, I would like to thank you all to participation on the webinar, and I'm wishing you all very successful networking, using the seed funding money effectively, and delivering as much research outputs as possible. So thank you very much once more. And just a small remark on the end, you will be approached by my colleagues with a small questionnaire survey, which is obligatory as a typical project management process. So please, if you will find time to answer a few questions regarding the quality of the seed funding processes, and so we can, because we are working on the second call, so we can improve our work. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming, and hopefully we'll see us in Košice in 2 or 3 weeks, because here's Košice Ulysseus Summit here. So thank you. Bye.